Jack, better known as Jackie Roosevelt Robinson, was born in 1919 in the small town of Cairo, Georgia. From the very beginning, Jackie faced racial prejudice growing up. This prejudice made Jackie's family bond stronger than most and gave him the want to change the world. Jackie was the youngest of 5 children to a sharecropping family. In 1920, after his father had left, Jackie's mother moved the family to Pasadena, California. Because Jackie was a minority in a fairly affluent community, Robinson and his friends were discriminated against and excluded from playing with the white children. This discrimination didn't slow young Jackie's love of sports. In high school, inspired by his Olympic medal-winning older brother, he participated in football, basketball, baseball, and track, lettering in all 4 sports. From there, it was on to Pasadena Junior College, where Jackie broke track records set by his older brother and continued to play the 4 sports he had played in high school. Jackie then went on to UCLA, where he became the first athlete to letter in 4 sports. He won the outdoor long jump in 1940, was named to the All-American football team in 1941, and continued to play baseball, which he jokingly called his worst sport, as well as basketball. Robinson also met his future wife at UCLA, and even played semi-professional football as a running back in Honolulu, Hawaii. His football career was cut short, however, due to the Second World War. Robinson was drafted into the Army and moved all the way up to second lieutenant before he got into an argument with an Army bus driver. The Army bus was supposedly unsegregated, but the bus driver still told Jackie that he needed to sit in the back of the bus. Jackie refused and was eventually court-martialed in relation to his objection about the racial prejudice on the bus. Jackie then left the Army with an honorable discharge. In 1945, Jackie played 1 season with the Kansas City Monarchs, a Negro League team. He traveled throughout the Midwest and performed extremely well for the club, hitting a blistering .387 with 5 home runs and 13 stolen bases. After 1 year in the Negro Leagues, Jackie was then signed by the Montreal Royals, the Brooklyn Dodgers AAA affiliate. As had been the case for most of his life, Jackie was faced with a wave of discrimination, including being excluded from staying in the team hotel. This didn't affect Robinson at the plate or on the field, as Jackie batted .349 and tore up the league with his near-perfect fielding percentage. Fresh out of AAA, Jackie was finally ready to do what he was destined to. In 1947, 6 days before the start of the season, the Brooklyn Dodgers president, Branch Rickey, approached Jackie about joining the Major League club. The Major Leagues had not had an African-American player since 1889, when Fleet Walker left what would become Major League Baseball due to discrimination. But Jackie was the perfect man for the job, and was called up to the majors on April 9th to play first base. Jackie's incredible talent and laid-back demeanor made him the perfect candidate to break the color barrier. People respected him for his playing style, and even when they didn't, Jackie had thick enough skin to block out the negative and racist parts of the game. Robinson's call-up to the big leagues met a generally positive, although mixed reception, among newspapers and white Major League players. However, there was strong racial tension in the Dodger clubhouse. This all changed when Dodgers management took a stand for Robinson. Manager Leo DeRucher informed the team, "I don't care if this guy is yellow or black, or if he has stripes like a fucking zebra. I'm the manager of this team, and I say he plays. What's more, I say he can make us all rich. And if all of you cannot use the money, I will see that you're all traded." After Jackie's call-up, most other MLB teams realized that they could bring whoever they wanted onto their Major League team without fear of losing fan base or revenue. Within a year of Jackie's arrival, hundreds of African-American ball players were in the MLB, and thousands of African-American fans flocked to games whenever the Dodgers came to town. Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier was more than just a Brooklyn Dodgers thing, or a baseball thing, or even a sports thing. It was the start of a cultural movement. African Americans found strength to do what they wanted in Jackie's courage on the diamond, and long before the Civil Rights Movement had started, Jackie had made one large step towards a more equal America by stepping on that diamond. Not to mention, he was a pretty good ball player as well. Jackie finished his rookie season by becoming the National League Rookie of the Year with 12 homers, a league leading 29 steals, and a .297 average. In 1949, he was selected as the NL's Most Valuable Player of the Year and won the batting title with an average of .342. At the end of his baseball career, Jackie had racked up 6 All-Star selections in 49, 50, 51, 52, and 53 and 54, and a Negro League All-Star selection in 1945, as well as a World Championship in 1955. All Jackie's hard work on the diamond paid off, as he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1962, and 50 years after his groundbreaking debut, his jersey number was retired by every Major League team. But Jackie's legacy goes beyond baseball. Yes, he did finish his career with a .311 batting average, over 1,500 hits, 137 home runs, and 197 stolen bases, but that isn't what he will be remembered by. Instead, we will remember how by the end of the 1947 season, he had given 7 other African-American ball players the courage to play in the MLB, and thousands of minority fans the courage to go to Dodgers games. We'll remember how he single-handedly started a cultural movement, In every showing of courage on the field, he gave minorities courage off it. He gave all minorities the hope of a one-day equal America and showed them that all barriers were made to be broken. And long before the civil rights movement had started, Jackie started his own civil rights movement by stepping on that field, making what he did bigger than baseball. After the end of his baseball career, Jackie devoted his life to civil rights activism. His life and legacy were seen as so important by the American public that stamps were produced in his likeness, as well as books, movies, and plays were made about him. Even though Jackie's impact was felt from coast to coast, some cities like Boston were a little slow to follow the trend that Robinson set.
Okay, so, Papa, you grew up in the area, in the era of Jackie Robinson. So, can you tell me what it was like with, just growing up in that era, like, hearing about Jackie Robinson?
Well, there were a lot of surprised people and everything, but, he was in New York with the Dodgers.
Yep.
And we had the Boston Red Sox. So most of all our news and everything was about Boston. Mm-hmm. We knew about it, but it wasn't like you followed them and, oh, look, he got a double today, or he did this, or he did that. So it's hard to say if I was in, a New York fan or a Dodger fan, I would have been more involved in what he was doing and things like that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. I don't want to say it wasn't a big deal, but it didn't mean much up to us in Boston, Boston area.
But you had heard of it, so I mean, it did kind of sweep the country.
Yeah, I mean, it was all over the news and the papers when it first happened and everything else. And Branch Rickey was the manager of the Dodgers and signed him.
So
and at first, everybody was a little upset, especially around the Boston area, because, they were still pretty racist up there in Boston.
Okay.
And in the South, too. But,
yeah.
Boston was always, especially South Boston,
So did it...
But they didn't, the Red Sox never signed a black player till, Jesus, I think the first one was Pumpsy Green, and that was probably 15, 20 years after Robinson signed.
Okay. So you said
it wasn't like, oh boy, they got a colored player, and now the whole league's going to up in Boston. It didn't, it didn't mean a lot.
It didn't mean a lot. So did you see any change in at least like the high school level or where you were like with like there was no real change of like integration is what you're saying?
Oh, yeah, there was nothing. I mean, it wasn't like kids talked about it and things like that. Now, I graduated in 54, and I don't remember. I think he signed in 48. I don't want to swear to that. For some reason, that
47, Papa.
47?
Yep.
Okay, so I was a year off. And at 47, I was only 11 years old. In 1947. So, when you're 11 years old, you don't know news and foreign news. I mean, I'm amazed now in some of the things they say happened.
Yeah.
I was in my 20s and 30s, and I'm saying, geez, I don't remember that at all, because it wasn't news here. It may have been news in Tennessee or someplace.
Mm-hmm. But it was definitely big enough that it carried over to the Boston area. It wasn't just a New York thing.
Yeah, it wasn't just New York. I mean, it was in the papers, but being 11, I didn't follow sports that much or anything. I hadn't even gotten to playing football or anything, It was just me and my buddies going out, and if we played baseball, it was a sandlot game or something. It really didn't mean a heck of a lot. I can't remember saying, oh, Christ, now we get, positive and negative, like, oh, Christ, now we get a black player playing in the league's going to hell. It just didn't mean nothing, because it didn't affect us.
Okay. I think that's good, Papa.
The end.